Hello students, in this video we will start looking some kind of basic principles for orchestrating bigger statements. This means kind of going a step further from just transferring our piano sketches into smaller orchestrations, but how to size things up into these kind of big climaxes that you can hear in orchestral music where like the entire orchestra is involved more or less, or a bigger portion than what you have been previously using. So let's look at some very basic but extremely crucial principles here. First of all, simplicity is key. When you are sizing up your ensemble, you want to double what's already there instead of just adding more. Like, instead of adding more melody lines, like adding in smaller elements and, whatever, you should rather try to just double down on what's already there. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. Because things usually sound more complex than they really are when you listen to things from, film scores and game scores and trailer music, especially those big orchestral pieces. Because when you listen to them as a listener, you might sometimes be tricked into believing there's actually more going on that there is. But it's not sounding so complex and well written because there are necessarily so many elements going on, but rather because there's just a few elements that have been written and orchestrated so well that they take up the entire spectrum of space and attention. With proper separation between the elements, they are well put in like a foreground, middle ground, and a background role. There are nice textures, everything is, the orchestration is balanced, where all the layers that are playing can be heard properly, and so on. So think about tone color, and so on. So, try to keep things minimal and rather double down and make sure the things that you actually have there are as good as they can get. Because that's when you really get those huge, amazing, big orchestrations. Now, let's take the same example again, this little piano melody here. All right, so we have this little melody. We have all three elements in here. Now let's have a look at how I would go about orchestrating this in like a bigger orchestral statement. Okay, so in a previous video, we did this little, string and woodwinds theme that sounded like this. Right, it's a very intimate and small orchestration of this theme. But say we want to go for something bigger, right? What you would still do is the exact same principles, but with doubling. So you see how I have all those, just three elements: melody, counter melody, and harmony. When I'm talking about simplicity, is that I would only add onto these existing layers and not add anything new. If I go into like a bigger orchestration of this theme, you would still only see this. There would not be anything more. I would only be doubling what's already there. And this is what's going to give you that clean, huge, but structured orchestration. It's because every element has a purpose. You're not just throwing things in there just to make things sound louder and bigger, just throwing stuff at a wall. That's not what we're gonna and see what sticks, that's not the approach we're gonna do here. So I've been making just this little super quick orchestration in, a bigger kind of orchestral statement. Let's see what that sounds like. It's not like the biggest thing you've ever heard, but I'm keeping it simple here just to get the different techniques and points across in a simple way. So, if I open this now and we're gonna see at what's going on here, it's a little bit messy, but let's have a deeper look at what's going on here. First of all, you see the characteristic melody here, which is doubled in octaves, as you can see. The movement is, exactly the same. So these are doubled in octaves. Next, we can see the bass notes here for the two chords, like that are played in 3 octaves with brass and strings. And then we have those, the downwards counter melody motions that are also played in 2 octaves here. And we have the same chords as it was in the piano. So what we basically have here is the same 3 layers. 2 octaves with the melody, 2 octaves for the counter melody, and like 3 octaves in the bass. You see, everything is doubling what's already there. So let's look at what's going on individually here. So as usual, we have the woodwinds. Oh, let's see. As usual, we have the woodwinds. They're playing the melody in octaves. And the same is happening in the strings. In the violins, I mean. So see, I have the violins playing the melody in octaves, I just copied, the melody that was over there. And the same is happening, you see, in the woodwinds. Same thing, they're just playing the exactly same stuff. Then if we continue further down, you can see that we have the cello playing the counter melody together with the horns in unison. That's what's going on there, and I think we might have some choirs in here that I accidentally muted. Let's listen to that. You can see the choirs are doubling the chords here with the little counter melodies at the same time. So they're just like filling out some background space and adding a little bit of, space and warmth into the chords and the counter melody. Just kind of gluing everything a bit together. And then I think at the bottom we just have, some low brass playing the bass notes. And that's basically everything that's going on here. So you can see that I've only been doubling. Oh, yeah, we have the chords with the strings and the downwards little counter melody here as well in the violas. So that's it. That's everything that's going on here. You can see I've taken the exact same things as in the piano sketch and just sized it up. Wait, let me see here. I've just been taking this and, just been putting it in an octave over, doing the same thing here and spacing out the harmonies a bit. But it's the exact same notes, just assigned to different instruments in octaves to make it sound bigger. And we're going to talk and look at, bigger chord voicings and doubling and how to effectively do this to make it sound clean later. I just wanted to quickly present this kind of, mindset of doubling what's already there instead of just adding in new stuff, because that's one of the biggest problems I see composers do that are inexperienced but I want this big orchestral sound, is that there are too many elements at the same time in the big orchestral sections that are just fighting for space. So double down on what's already there, your melody, your harmony, your counter melody, ostinato, whatever it is. Only use that. So that's why I sometimes like to create a little piano sketch and just, really keep things simple and assign it to different instruments to not make things sound messy. Now, another little thing regarding tone color. Think about tone color when you double each element. Because when you're making a grand orchestration and you only have like three layers or so, you're doomed to double most of these layers, like I had to do here. If you have a flute melody, maybe you put flutes and piccolos in octaves together with violin 1 and violin 2 in octaves as well, which is basically what I've done just with flute and oboe, violin 1, violin 2. And I've been like, these blend together pretty well as we have previously explored. Now maybe you'll make the cellos and horns do a little counter melody like I did here, while something else, it could be trombones and low woodwinds cover the harmonies, or, you can also have oboes and clarinet and harps doing arpeggiated textures in the back, and bam, you have like 4 layers doubled across most of the orchestra, but still only 4 different layers of music. In my case, I only have 3 because I don't have any like textures or fancy things like that. I'm just keeping it very simple. So keep this principle in mind when you are going through your orchestration journey in this course, and I'll see you guys in the next video.